Hi there, Mark here again, and welcome to part 2 of my build guide for the now legendary Hornet rear-wheel drive off-road buggy. We got this far last time, which was to the end of step 10 of the build manual, so you can see we've got the gearbox all finished and the back end all complete with the suspension. So let's crack on with step 11, which is actually charging the battery. So I've already got a battery charge, so straight on to step 12, which it says is checking the RC equipment. But basically what you need to do is get your ESC, your receiver, your battery, your transmitter and your servo, plug it all in, turn it on with your transmitter in neutral for the steering trim, and make sure that that servo is centered. I'm using this short Endura 14 kilogram metal gear servo. These are really good, and I think they should give me a bit more room for the battery inside the battery tray. I've already gone through this process, made sure that my servo is centered, because if you don't, you put your servo horn on and build the car up, you could have your steering completely thrown out. Anyway, what you need to do is make sure you get your servo and put it in the right orientation, same as the diagram. Then get part P5 or P6, whichever fits your servo output, and align that as best you can, as it shows in the diagram, to straight up. Well, because of the teeth on that output, you never will get it completely straight up, but just pick the tooth that gives it the closest you can get to straight up, but I think that'll do. Then get part P4, which is kind of a plastic spring, and pop that on top of the first part. Part P3 clips on the top, and then affix that with a screw that fits your servo. Now most servos like this one do come with the screw that fits the centre of that output, so use that is probably the best thing to do. So just tighten that up, and that's the end of step 12. Step 13 is attaching the steering rods. As you can see here in the diagram, there's a long one and a short one. This is the longer one. You just get the ball end adjuster and screw that onto the thread. Make sure the alignment's correct, so you've got the end of the rod with that bend as it shows in the diagram there, and the ball end needs to be pointing down, so the open end, as you can see there, is pointing downwards. And then just use the diagram, it is to scale, to make sure that it's exactly the right length. Then do exactly the same with the shorter arm, again with that bend in that position and the ball end pointing down. Then we need to fit part A4, which is the servo mounts, this here, and you need a 3x12 and a washer. What I'm going to do is get it started before I put it on the servo. You should be able to do this if your servo's got open ends in it like mine has. So just start it off like that. Then you can just pop that to the open end of the servo. Just pops in. We can nip that screw up now. And obviously do exactly the same for the other side of the servo. Finally, you need to get the long arm on the left as you look at it now, and pop that rod into the hole there in the servo and rotate. The shorter one in the right hand side again, just pop it through and rotate it round, and that's ready for the next step, which is attaching the servo. We've got D10, which is the front body post to put on with 3x12, and then we've got 2 screws and washers to locate into those rails on the chassis at the back. I'll just do the rails at the back first. There's the screw with a washer on it. You can get it started with it not attached to the chassis like this. It's a bit easier. Then just slot it into place, and we'll just get that nipped up now. And obviously do exactly the same for the other side. Then it's plastic part D10, and that's going to go at the front here and be secured by a 3x12 screw that goes in that hole there in the centre of the chassis at the front. You can use a box wrench to hold on to that post, and as you can see there, just make sure that the hole in that post is pointing across the chassis from left to right. Okay, to finish this step, just get your servo and make sure you get these arms and pop them down through the hole like so, and then you've just got to get your 2 3x12s with a washer on in through underneath and screw into those servo posts. Don't tighten the screws up all the way, just get it just lightly nipped up. So as you can see, the screws are now in, lightly done up, and those are slots in the hole, so you can see it moved side to side very slightly. All you need to do is get it in the middle as best you can guess it, and then knit those up. So now just remember that when you've finished your build, and if you run the buggy and it doesn't run completely true in a straight line with the steering trim in neutral, you can always slacken those up a little bit and move the servo from one side or the other so you can straighten it up. Step 15 is installing your electronics, which is a piece of cake. It's just sticking your ESC and receiver in with some double-sided tape, but it does show fixing the switch here for the ESC onto the standard position in the chassis, which you can't do with the new Tamiya Hobbywing ESC because the switch is so small, but I've got a solution to that. And here it is. It's just a simple 3D printed part from a scale bodge not built. Cheers Tom for sending this over. So here's the new ESC switch. It's nice and simple, it can't be easier really. You just pop it into the slot, push it down, and now the screws will locate in those two holes. So I'll just get this in place. So there it is in that case, down where it's supposed to be in the chassis. And you can now still easily get to that switch from underneath the car. And there's my ESC and my receiver stuck down with double-sided tape. In step 16, I'm going to make up the front uprights. They're both the same. This is the right hand side. You can see I've already made this one up, and a little addition, I've attached the little 4mm ball joint. It's just easier to get it done at this stage, I think. So let's make up the left one. It's very simple. First thing we do is get part 812, your little U-shaped bracket, and that fits on the top there. And that's just secured with a 3x12 self-tapper. A bit fiddly to start with, but once you get the screw going, it's not too bad. Make sure you get the axle the right way around, and like I said, I'm going to put in a little ball joint, and that goes in the outside of the two holes. And as this is so small, don't go too tight with it, else you will strip out the plastic. Okay, when that's done, just insert that between the two holes there in the arm. It's a 22mm screw pin. You can put a bit of grease on this if you want. And that's that. Simple as. There's your two front arms. In step 17 we're going to finish off the front arms, and it's just simply putting this bottom part of the shock piece together. As you can see, it's the plastic part there, just goes into that bracket. So we'll just do the left arm now. Plastic part A13, it's the bottom of the shock, and then you've got this little space which is a 3x6.5 silver piece of metal tubing that goes into the hole. Pop that into the U-shaped bracket and then push through your 15mm long 3mm screw. And it's simply a flange nut that holds that all together. Just give that a good nip up. You can go as tight as you like because that's tube spacer stops it from binding on that bottom part of the shock. So yeah, that's the end of step 17. So in step 18 I'm going to attach those arms we've just made and also put on the front bumper. Just make sure you get them the right way around, so you want the steering arm like that with the arm pointing backwards, and you've got this webbing at the front. Okay, so there's holes in the chassis here, so you need to put that part of the arm in first into the slot, push it backwards, and then locate that into the slot in the front. And obviously exactly the same with the other arm, so push that backwards, drop that into the grooves at the front. Then you want this part off the A parts tree, and just pop that into place. Make sure the arms move freely. Again, I say you can put some grease on those pivots if you want. And then it's 3 3x12 screws, one in there, and the last one in there. And to finish this step, get your front bumper, line it up with these 3 holes here. They don't slot on, they just slide around until you get the screws in. And again, it's the same old 3 3x12 self-tappers. So let's just get those done up. Step 19 is attaching the front coil springs, but it's basically making up the front shocks. For this you've got 2 options. You can have a soft setting and a hard setting, the main difference being the top plastic part, it's a D1 or a D7. I'm going to go for the soft because I've gone for soft at the back, so this is the D1 plastic part. And for the soft setting we'll just use one O-ring that will go in there as opposed to two for the hard setting. And you've got to get your plastic tube and cut off two 5mm portions of it. I've already done the one side, and I'm glad I chose a soft setting because that does feel quite stiff, but anyway, we can always fine tune it when we get to run the buggy. So we'll just have a go at showing you the other side. It is going to be a bit tricky to do it on camera. First of all, get your damper shaft, and I have put a tiny bit of grease onto this because otherwise that O-ring won't slide up and down. So poke it through the top of the shock mount, and it's part D1 or D7 with the right number of O-rings in. I've put the one O-ring in there, and we're just going to pop that on the bottom and slide that up to the top. Then you've got your cut off little bit of tube, push that just above the thread, get your spring, put that over those parts, and then we've got to get the end of the threads then into that bottom part of the shock. Like I said, it's going to be a bit tricky to get that screwed in, but once it does locate, it's quite easy to do. And screw this in as far as it will go. Okay, I've just felt that tighten up there, so I'll stop now, and it's as simple as that. There you go, that's your front suspension finished. Steps 20 and 21 are building the front and rear wheels. Well, basically putting the tyres and the wheels together. Each of the wheels comes in 3 parts and it's clamped together with screws and nuts. So let's have a go at the front one first. For this you're going to need the 3 wheel parts, which are F1, F2 and F3. F for front obviously, and your front tyre. First thing to do is get the central part, which is this part, and push it into the tyre like so. Okay, and once you've got it in like this, you can then rotate the wheel inside the tyre, and there it is in the middle. So once the centre's in place, the important part now is to get part F2, which is the part of the wheel that's got those captive holes for the 2mm nuts that are going to go in there, and that's got to go over the raised part of the wheel. You can see there on the inside the centre is raised, much more on that side than this side. That's much of a lower raised part, as I said. So the bigger one, make sure you put this on that side of the centre of the wheel and align up the holes as best you can. Once you've done that, turn it over, and then you've got the part F1, and again see if you can line the spokes up and line those holes up. If you don't, you won't be able to get the screws through. Then you've got 5 of these 2x8 tiny little screws. Make sure you do get the right ones, because it's the 8mm ones that go in the front and 10mm ones that go in the rear, and it's easy to get them mixed up. So make sure you check the length of these screws. So right, get one through the hole, your tiny 2mm nut, and that's going to go into that captive holder, as you can see there. And we'll just lightly screw this up. Don't go and screw it up all the way yet. And after a bit of practice, I found the easiest way to do this is to get the nut in place first. Put your finger over the nut to hold it so it doesn't fall out, and place the next screw in. Just continue in the same manner until you've got all those screws in place. Once you've got them all in, you can just finish off by tightening them all up completely, and when you've finished, you should have a tyre that is nicely clamped onto the rim. Again, it's exactly the same, but this time obviously with parts R1, R2 and R3, R being for rear. And again, you need to get your tyre, get the centre part of the wheel, R3, and again push it straight into the middle of the tyre. This one could be a bit trickier being a rear. No, actually that went in quite easy. And again, once it's in position like that, you can rotate the wheel. Yeah, not too difficult at all. And this time, let's try and get the beads of the tyre located onto that centre of the rim. Part R2, which is the back of the wheel, and that goes onto this part that's sticking up here. Again, the important thing is to line up the holes as best you can. Turn it over, and again part R1, and line up those holes. Yep, that was quite easy actually, and obviously fit the 5 slightly longer 10mm long 2mm screws and fit them exactly the same as you did with the front wheel. Steps 22 and 23 are simply attaching the wheels. Fitting the front tyre is a piece of cake. You just put one of your bearings or bushings, if you've got them, into each side of the wheel, place it onto the axle and hold it on with a 4mm lock nut. For the rears, you're going to need a 2x10 shaft. That's going to go through the rear axle. There's a hole in the rear axle. Then you've got part B5, and you've got to put that over the axle and locate the grooves onto that pin so it locks in place. And now fit the wheel, making sure that you've got the holes that are in the wheel there with the nuts inside lined up with the adapter so it grips the wheel. You just feel it when it slots into place, and again a 4mm lock nut. Okay, last thing to do is just pop on the battery door. Just slides in place from the back with a bit of a click, and there you go. I'm calling that chassis finished. It's been a real blast putting it together. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a little bit more tricky than I thought it would be, but all the same, nothing too difficult. So the only thing left to do now is that beautiful body, but that will be in part 3 because I think this one's gone on long enough. Thank you for following along this far, and hope to see you on the next one. Bye.